Hey guys, good morning. Wanted to go ahead and make a video here because I got a request asking whether I could go over the different sound signatures of microphones and to go from there. Yeah, but what I'm going to do is go over each sound signature because microphones have sound signatures. Okay, so this is the RODE NT1 4th generation. This is a flat line. Basically, when you look at the frequency response, it's a flat line. And generally, most people would view this as neutral or neutral that's a little bit bright-ish at the end, but generally they'll say it's pretty a flat microphone. So this is the RODE NT1 4th generation. All right, so here is the Deity S-mic 3S. This is I guess, sort of a shotgun microphone. In the literature for this microphone, it is often described as neutral. And when you look at the graphs for this, it's pretty much a flat line. All right, so here is the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure. Now, this is known as a bright microphone. This is a bright condenser microphone, and this is how it sounds. Microphone check, testing 1, 2, 3. This is the Oktava MK012. This microphone is more bright. So this is more of a brightish sound signature, different type of microphone, but it's still, you can hear that it's a little bit bright. All right, so this is the Shure SM7B. This is more of a warmer tonality, or even closer to dark, but basically very warm tonality. And as you can see, this sounds different from the neutral sounding microphone, but also sounds quite different from the bright sounding microphone. Definitely warmer tilted. All right, so this is the blue baby bottle. This is another warm sounding microphone, kind of definitely warmer slanted. Even though this is a condenser microphone, it kind of has that Shure SM7B kind of quality where it's more warmish and very like almost woolly sounding. So this is warm in tonality. All right, so this is the Warm 87 Junior SE. This is their attempt to copy a Neumann U87, and I think they failed catastrophically. But this is a bright sounding microphone. I will now compare this to the next microphone, the U87. All right, so here's the Neumann U87ai. So this microphone, most people would call this mid-forward. So this is more of a mid-forward tonality. Microphone check, testing 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, so this is the Sennheiser MKH 416. Now, this is either bright slanted or V-shaped. That's like a bright V-shaped. And the reason I say that is because when you hear it, it definitely is bright slanted when you hear it, but it's also got a ton of low ends in it, right? It's that people love the proximity effect on this because it has a ton of bass in it. So this is more of a V-shaped sound to it. It's kind of bright, but also like V-shaped. We're next going to go over another V-shaped microphone, but more warm slanted. But this is a V-shaped sound that's bright slanted. All right, so this is the Neeking V version 1. See, this microphone is, in my opinion, V-shaped but warm slanted. If you listen, it's got clarity. It's got a little bit of sharpness to it, but at the same time, it's got that bass in the background, and it also kind of pitches my voice a little bit lower. But in my opinion, this is more V-shaped. It's not flat out warm like the SM7B because the SM7B didn't have that clarity, but it's not bright straight out like the Lewitt. This is definitely V-shaped because it has that low end, but also has shimmer. It has that brightness to it, right? So this is more V-shaped. All right, so this microphone is the Blue Mouse. This is another sort of V-shaped sounding microphone because while it does have low end, it actually has brightness to it as well at the same time. And it's almost like a little bit of a blend of both, right? So it's a little bit warmer slanted. It's not, I wouldn't call it flat out bright, but I wouldn't call it flat out warm. I wouldn't call it flat out, it's like a little bit of a blend of everything, right? So more, in my opinion, kind of V-shaped sounding. But we'll go over another signature just to show the contrast. All right, so this is the Warm 47 Junior. So to me, this is warm slanted, but it's got a little bit of shimmer at the end to allow for a little bit of detail. Great microphone for $199, but this microphone to me is definitely warm with a little bit of shimmer. And this is how it sounds. Microphone check, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is the Electronics SE8 So this microphone is bright, kind of more bright slanted. This is how it sounds. Microphone check, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so here's the Shure KSM32, and this is how it sounds. So to me, this is more a neutral warm kind of tonality to it, although it's very close to warm, but it's neutral warm. And this is how it sounds. Microphone check, testing 1, 2, 3. To kind of clear this up a bit, we'll also just show a little bit more neutral warmish kind of sounding microphones and to go from there. But this is more neutral warm. All right, so here is the Line Audio CM4. Now, when you look at the graphs for this, it kind of shows a flat line. So maybe this is more close to neutral, although to my ears, it's quite warm tilted. So this is somewhere between neutral and neutral warm, but this is the Line Audio CM4, microphone check testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so here is the Electronics SE8. Now, when you actually look at the graphs for this microphone, this also shows kind of a little bit more like neutral flat, but at the tail end, it's got a little bit of a presence boost, a tiny presence boost at the far end. So this is almost neutral with a little bit of a shimmer at the end. So this is the Electronics SE8, microphone check testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so here is the Austrian audio OC18. This microphone I would classify as close to neutral warm. At least, like, I wouldn't say it's flat out neutral, but I would definitely say it's neutral, but a little bit more warm slanted. So this is the Austrian audio OC18, microphone check testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so here is the Earthworks Ethos. So this is pretty damn close to dark, or I would say definitely warm, dark, but I even consider this darker than the Shure SM7B. And I'm actually not even that far away from the microphone, even though it looks like if I eat it, it's like this. This is how it sounds like when I'm eating it, right? So it's like, but this is a very dark sounding microphone in my opinion. Microphone check, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is the Audio Technica AT2020. So this microphone is more bright slanted. Microphone check, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is the Neewer 800. This is a tinny sounding microphone. So whenever I say that a person sounds a little bit tinny, I'm referring to this kind of sound. All right, so here is the Elgato Wave 3, and this is how it sounds. This is a V-shaped sound. Basically, if you listen to it, it doesn't sound like a person, actually. I don't think this actually sounds very natural. But if you look and listen, it's got a little bit of sharpness to it, right? But at the same time, it's got some artificial kind of bass to it, a little bit warmth to it, but it's kind of unnatural. All right, so this is the Fifine K669D. So this microphone I would classify as more bright and a little bit like thin on the vocals. All right, so this is the RODE NT1A. So this microphone is definitely bright slanted, but what's also interesting is when you listen to the vocals, they sound compressed. Like basically someone put it through a compressor. It doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound like, it just sounds like, and when I mean compressed, they basically just went through and just, like, you know, that's not good. It's not a natural sound, but this is the RODE NT1A. Microphone check, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here's the RODE NT5. This microphone, in my opinion, is more neutral warm. At least I think so, because it's not as warm as like the SM7B or Ethos, but it's getting pretty damn close. But it's definitely warmer than some of the neutral sounding microphones, definitely warmer. All right, so here is the Neumann TLM 103. So this microphone to me is quite bright slanted. So this is more bright. So yeah, hopefully this clears things up.